Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's CX Quick Tips. Now, of course, we have some incredible discussions on our CX Quick Tips. We're only going for like about 10 minutes. That's all we're looking for. So we get down into some of the really important parts of taking action quickly. And who does that any better than Shep Hyken? Shep, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me back. It's good to see you.
Man, it's great to see you. Okay, so you and I had a little bit of back and forth, and I did a little bit of research on some of the things that you had been focusing in on more than 10 years ago, and it's relevant today. And we talked about it even being more important today with some of the little bit of twists. But right now, we're trying to navigate change, uncertainty, and pressure and complexity to a significantly greater degree than we ever have before. And so you've always talked about the employee golden rule. How is the employee golden rule being impacted today, versus where it was 10 years ago?
Well, I don't think there's much difference in what the rule is from the standpoint. And let's talk about what that employee golden rule is. It's just a twist on some words, but it's do unto your employees as you want done unto the customer. The original golden rule, do unto others as you want done unto yourself. But in this case, we want to treat employees the way we want customers treated. Because if you want those customers to have an amazing experience, the employees have to be right in sync with what that experience is. You can't take somebody in the back room, scream at them, yell at them, say, now get out there and be nice to the customer. It's just so incongruent. But that's what the employee rule is, golden rule is. Now, what's changed, I believe, is that employees, especially in our world, which is customer support, they're working from home. They've been gone now, many of them, from their support centers for the last year and a half, 2 years almost. And it's a totally different environment. How do we engage these employees the way we want to engage them? So and here's my latest riff, and it's very short. It's like, do you want people working for your company, or do you want them working for the paycheck? Because if they're working for the paycheck, they don't care where they work or who they work for. They're working from home, taking calls, and they can take calls from the ABC company, the XYZ company. Doesn't make any difference. But we want them to really be working for us instead of just that paycheck. So we've got to be thinking about that as well.
Well, you bring up a very interesting scenario for a lot of organizations when you start even looking at the whole outsource, versus heck, even temporary workers, versus, actual, employees. Should I be really, trying to create that relationship and those golden rules differently because of that scenario versus having just a straight employee?
Well, I want you to consider this, whether you're hiring part-timers, full-timers, whether you're offshoring, whatever. The cost of bringing somebody on and training them is really expensive. So figure out ways to invest. And it doesn't always have to be dollars, although dollars make a difference to people, but not as big a difference as the fulfillment that they have from working with a manager, a supervisor, a boss that makes them feel like they're connected with the company, that they're doing a good job, that they're getting the right coaching and mentoring. And oftentimes they say, I want growth. And what does growth mean? It means different things to different people. Growth could be, I want to move into another career inside this company, or I want to grow and learn more, which might mean new product knowledge. It could be new techniques and innovations in our contact centers that are allowing us to create better support. So we got to understand what growth means. But in the end, what we want to do is create the experience that gets, obviously on the outside, we want customers to come back. We want the same thing happening internally. We don't want, repeat customers are different than loyal customers. Repeat customers just keep coming back for a number of reasons. Maybe it's price. Loyal customers are tied to the company. Well, repeat employees are just coming in for their job, where loyal employees are ambassadors of your brand.
Well,
I need to write an article about that. That was good.
That was good. Well, you also had talked about, we chatted a little bit about, the impact of digital on all of this, right?
Yep.
You mentioned the remote thing and being remote for a long time, but let's get a little bit more focused in on the digital, impact to the golden rule.
So digital, basically, so many of the people in our world are now working in the digital environment. They're working from home. They're working sometimes using the phone. Sometimes they're jumping in on a chat. But here's what happens: is it applies to employees. We want to create the experience. I've already mentioned this, that makes them want to come back not just come back for the paycheck, but come back because they love us. How does that work? Well, maybe you can't. And if I'm a manager in a support center, and by the way, I think managers and supervisors are often having a tougher experience and tougher time than the basic line employees who are on that front line, because as managers, we used to be able to walk around, tap people on the shoulder, talk to them, sit next to them, go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next person. We don't get to do that anymore. It's all done digitally. It's all done through different types of community. Like we're on Zoom and YouTube, but maybe there's Slack and there's, Teams, and there's so many other tools that we can use. We've got to be very intentional about using these tools. When I was right after COVID started, I was forced to send everybody home, and we all worked remotely. And we decided as a team, we're going to have 3 meetings a day. So over within a 2 or 3 month period, I was getting calls from our clients saying, hey, can you interview some of our customers and find out what they're doing to make this work? And I would ask these managers of sometimes very, very large support centers that had thousands of employees, what are you doing to make it work? And they're doing all the things that we do, big or small, it doesn't make it. They're keeping in touch. They're having team meetings. They were all, I said, are you having, and I did a little survey, 1 time a day, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, once a week, twice a week. What are you doing? And we found that most people are having them a minimum of once a day, many 2 times a day, some even 3, morning, mid-afternoon, or lunchtime, and then at the end of the day, just to kind of pull everybody together. They were having virtual coffee hours or happy hours, if you will. They were having meals together. They were doing some fun, playing trivia. They were doing what they could to keep employees engaged, even though they're working individually in their homes, maybe in a little tiny room, with no windows. We don't know, in the basement, at the kitchen table. So that's what I think we need to be focused on, is giving employees an experience that makes them want to come back. I'll jump real quick to a company called Baptist Health South, where Brian Keeley was the CEO. When I interviewed him, actually, I didn't really do an official interview, but I got questions answered back and forth about what makes working there great. And this is what he said: we're a destination employment opportunity, meaning we want you, when you come to work for us, to never want to go anywhere else again. And the way he did that was creating a fulfilling experience by understanding what their employees wanted and giving it to them, obviously within reason. I take a look at Target right now. Target, one of the great retailers. The world of retail is suffering with employee turnover, people just saying, I don't want to work there anymore. How is it then that Target recently announced that they have the lowest churn in employment in over 5 years? They're obviously paying a very good wage. They start at $15 an hour. They pay a little bit more for evenings and weekends, and they give some great benefits as a package to make people want to be there. And they know it's a job, but it's a job they want to go to because of what they get in return. They feel really, really good about it.
Well, as you're talking,
sounds pretty simple, doesn't it?
Well, it does sound simple.
Simple isn't easy.
Well, you're right. And I think for us, if we were to peel back, a lot of the layers that we're talking about, that culture component comes into play.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's also some supporting reinforcement, because like you were saying, the skills to be a remote leader, versus a leader that has the benefit of proximity, means that I have to do things differently. And all the supporting mechanisms have to go along with that. You talked about the frontline struggle. A lot of time the frontline struggle is I have people above me saying, what are those people doing? And if I don't have visibility because of the remote thing, how do I actually, manage and navigate all of that?
They're walking their dog, they're feeding their kids. Oh, and every once in a while they're taking a call.
That's what they think, right? So it's when you start looking at that, I think we start talking about that vision and purpose and focus. And then you mentioned that shortest speech ever. What is it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is a tactic. We're moving away from the concept, but I was asked to do a keynote speech 40 minutes long, and they said you have to end exactly on time because we got to go somewhere after that. And I don't care. The guy says, if you go on early, you can take the extra time. You go on late, you got to cut it short. Well, the people in front of me went later and later. I was the last speaker. I had 2 minutes left. 2 minutes. And the guy says, well, I guess you're not going on. I go, oh, no, I'm going on. I wanted to get paid. No, that wasn't it. I said, I actually have something I can say. So I walked out there. They introduced me and I go, I know everybody. You're looking at your watch. How am I going to do the closing keynote speech in now less than 2 minutes? Well, I'm going to give you the shortest customer service speech in the world. Are you ready for this? So I've just been introduced. You gave me applause. I'm here. Here it goes. Be nice. And then I started to walk off stage. And I came back. I said, you know what? I think I got about 1:10 left here, but I know that be nice. What do you mean be nice? That's of course be nice. It's common sense. Then why isn't it always so common? But you know what? Being nice is a fundamental underlying, it's foundational, I guess, to the whole customer service and experience world. But here's the thing. If you go to a restaurant, it's the best food in the world and the server is nasty to you and the maitre d' was mean and angry and seems just like, why am I here? These people don't treat me well. You're not coming back, even if the food is great. So foundationally, we need to hire people that are really friendly, nice, engaging. As a matter of fact, in our survey, the Achieving Customer Amazement Survey, knowledgeable employees was really important, right up there with friendly employees. And there's not even a balance. They got to go together. And people need to feel that you care about them. There's empathy. And that's all about being nice.
Well, again, if you want your customers to feel that way, where you have to start with it, right?
Yep. And you know what? That happens internally. Go back to the very first thing we talked about. Do unto the people you work with as you want done unto the customer.
Shep Hyken, always a great time to chat with you. How can the CX Quick Tip listeners get in touch with you?
Just go to hyken.com, HYKEN.com.
And Shep is also a frequent contributor on CX Global Media. And so I want to thank him for his long tenured impact to our industry and look for many, many years to come. Shep, thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Thanks, Bob. I mean, Jim.
It's usually
Have
Tim.
a great one.
Take care, buddy.
Thanks.
All right.